for joining me for this Get Ready With Me featuring my September favorite. Let's go ahead in with the Hourglass primer. This is the Vanish Airbrush primer, and this is one of those products that as the more I use this, the more I like it. It gives a really smooth texture to the skin. I'm going to add a little bit of the Sheer Glow Rose Face Tint right under the eyes and high points of the cheeks. And bridge of the nose. Cupid's bow. Yeah, I think that's a nice combination if you don't love concealer or foundation, but you just want a little bit your skin but better. That's a really nice smooth texture on the face, and then the Rose Glow just gives the loveliest gentle glow. We're gonna go with the Charlotte Tilbury concealers, the Radiant Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. This is 8.5. I'm gonna brush it on this time, put a little on my hand. Then I'm also going to go under the eye with 8.5. This is the product, by the way. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. I have two shades here I'm going to use, but right now, 8.5. I'm just going to take a little of the excess and use that right on my, I've been experimenting with this just to see, really light layer though. It's kind of like what's left over on the brush. I haven't determined if it's like a really good base or not, but it's very quick in terms of just applying the excess. Okay, let me even this out. Okay, let's go ahead in with number 8. I'm just gonna go right here. Dot really lightly. I'm gonna go in with my bronzer now because it's this Merit bronzer, which is more of that balmy texture. I had questions about, is this a natural finish? It's probably one of the most natural finishes I've tried simply because it's got that balmy texture. It's more translucent. And this is the Merit #1 brush. You can use this with the complexion stick. You can use this with this Balm. This is this shade, the shade Seine. So this is the bronzer I'm using, again, by Merit. It's got the Merit logo on the top, but beautiful gold packaging on this. And I think when I demoed this, I was placing it a little bit lower than I wanted to, just because I was trying to avoid that little scar I have, because it does kind of take that concealer away. So if you have places you're trying to conceal, just be careful. But this one definitely can be brought up much higher, like this, and buffed in for a really pretty look. I do want to point out that I'm applying this a little bit higher. I think I was a little low on that first application. So I do just want to show you the concealer too. When it dries, it's a little bit deeper. So here's a shade, just a fresh swipe versus dried down. So it does dry down to a deeper, peachier shade, I'm gonna say. I'm just stippling that on. And I'm gonna take this brush and just stipple on top of that. Not perfect, but at least it's not standing out like it was. Going with the Buff and Blur powder. Buff and Blur? No. Perfect Blur powder by Chantecaille in light medium. You'd think I know by now. Saying this pretty much in every video. And then we've got the Buff and Blur brush. I'm just gonna set with this. Going with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Brightening Powder. This one's in the light medium, the one that's this shade. And since it was for brightening, I thought that would probably be better for me than the other shades. So I'm taking this Roen Everything Powder Brush, and I'm just going to really lightly dust that on right in the front here. Just kind of on the high points, nose as well, but yeah, really right up here in front. Okay, let me do my brows and then we're gonna do eyes. Let's go in with the Cougar palette by Chantecaille. I love both of them, but I thought let's use this one again. I think this one is maybe more versatile than the other one just because you can do a really classic eye with this. I use that concealer and I still get a little creasing. You can do a really classic eye with this, or let's see what else it can do. I haven't tried this yet, so we're gonna try together something a little bit more dramatic. But I think this is really pretty for a classic eye. Let's go in with the gray shade right here. And I want to just kind of go above and make that kind of like a base. And then below as well. Just a little bit smokier. So just went all around the eye with that darkest shade. And then let's go ahead and just pat this shade on the eyelid. And I'll see what we need to do from there. Ooh, pretty. That's really pretty. Let me just blend that a little. And then I'm going to go in with this mauvey shade. It's like a dusty rose maybe. Add that to the center. I think this is such a pretty shade right here. This is what makes this one a little different than other palettes kind of in this arena. And that's it. Very quick eye. Again, that's why I love Chantecaille products so much. Really easy to use. Beautiful result. Really pretty. Okay, I'm going to even these out really fast, but you saw how quick that was. And I did go in just a little bit more in the crease with a color that I thought wouldn't work well, but actually does work well in the crease. That brownish color, which looks like it's just one that's really good to use your clean hands with, but this actually on a brush does really well. So I wanted to let you know I added just a little bit here in the crease. Just like this. Works really well. So if you wanted to use that in the crease, it's beautiful there. Okay, let me just blend a little bit more. I also went in with the ESUM pencil. I took the black side of the platinum black eyeliner and just went in the upper waterline. So I tight lined with that, just slightly above. And then I wanted to show you side by side in case you were wanting to use this as a brightener. So this is the platinum side, and I wanted to go in the bottom waterline just so you can see that. So that's platinum. And then I wanted to show you that next to Victoria Beckham's brightening pencil, which I also really like. This one's a little bit more opaque though. So if you want something more translucent and a little bit more of a glow, then you can try something like the ESUM pencils. I really like the lighter shades in there for the waterline, or you could use something like the Victoria Beckham if you wanted something a little bit more evident. So let me just even these out. And then I'm going to take that ESUM pencil and just add a little bit of glow with that platinum. Next up, the Tower 28 mascara. Again, I'm rarely impressed with mascaras. Mostly I'm disappointed in them, but this one was really impressive. So first of all, I like the wand here. I'll probably have talked about this in the actual favorites video. But it really just hugs this eye area really well. You know, it really is separation, length, volume, all at once. No clumping, no smudging, nothing like that. So yeah, huge difference. They also lift my lashes. Now I don't normally curl them anyway, but these do a really good job of lifting them. Okay, let's go in with the Elephant palette We're gonna take this blush right here. Oh, by the way, this Elephant palette by Hourglass. I have a video on all three if you wanted to see them on. Okay, and then let's go in with a pop of color, this deepest shade of the blush, the deeper shade, only 2. Ran that Dyson through my hair. You know how much I love the Dyson. I just think it solves so many things for me, so I'm not going to talk about it again, but my mom is always saying, your hair looks nice, and I say, it's the Dyson. She said, it's always the Dyson. And it really has changed the game for me in terms of styling my hair. It just is so much easier, and I love the results because it's nice and shiny and not too much trouble. Okay, so we have a lot of glow going on here in the front. I'm not sure, should we keep it, not keep it? Let me see. So the glow came from the blush, because it has a glow to it. It's like a golden glow, really pretty. I always like the center though, just a little bit more mattified. So I'm gonna put a little bit of the Perfect Blur powder just because I do want to take the glow down, but you can still see it underneath the powder, so it's not gonna be totally matte here in the front. It'll just blur it just a little bit, and right up here. Always just looks better to me because I feel like there's a little bit of like a dimension to my face that throws the light off right here, that I just like it softer in the front. I do want to mention I started with this before I applied any makeup because I really like that it remains hydrated even though it's not glossy. So at this point it's not sticking. So I did a little like hair stick test when I first tried this, and my hair did stick, but as it wears off, that top layer wears off, it's nice and conditioned and the hair doesn't stick. So with the color too, it also the color remains, but you don't have that shininess to it. So when it's got that shininess to it, that's when the hair sticks. So it's when that first layer is wiped off that it's a really nice hydrating feeling without any stickiness. We're gonna go in with the DIOR 1947. This is like the perfect lip color for me, and some of you let me know this color is available in other finishes, which is great because this is more of that matte finish. It's the velvet. This is that velvet finish, so if you want a little bit more shine, you can get a different finish. I haven't looked myself, but let me see if I find them. I'll list them below. So it's like my lip shade, but just a hint of warmth. Just going in with a little bit of the Byredo Clear, and I'm just gonna add a little bit to the center. I know this totally defeats the purpose of a velvet lipstick, but I'm just gonna add a little bit to the center. Oh yes, and we can't forget the fragrance. So Cougar is my fragrance of the month. I've been really enjoying this. Let me just tell you the notes one more time. The notes are saffron, Davana, geranium, cinnamon, rose absolute, orange flower, lang, jasmine, patchouli, labdanum, sandalwood, and incense. So it's kind of got a really wide range, which is what I think makes this really lovely, because there's nothing too heavy about this, but it's quite dynamic, but also fresh at the same time. And that is it for the final look. As you can see, no foundation works really well with the primer and the concealers, and then just powder to pull it all together. And then really, again, just wanted to emphasize the versatility of that palette that I used, although I have to say the palettes that I picked this month are all quite versatile, but I really love the neutral tones of this one. That's why I think it'll work for a lot of people. And then you can see this is the second look I've done with it. And then everything else. So many winners. If you haven't seen the rundown of all of my favorites this month, make sure to head over to that video. It should have been posted previous to this one. I will link it below. But let me know your application tips for any of these products. I know they are your favorites too. Please let us know. I love learning from you. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other. Stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.